It's the Las Vegas Sportsline.
All right, welcome aboard. We are back from our Christmas break. We, being Teddy Covers, Patrick Everson, myself, Dave Cokin, Jared Justice at the controls. Welcome back to the Las Vegas Sportsline. We are refreshed and ready to go. Got to open the show on a really sad note.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline.
Hello. Okay. All right. On a sad note to open the show, I found this out this morning. Royce Fuhr, who, if you've followed boxing or sports here in the Valley over the decades, you know who Royce Fuhr is. He's just a Hall of Fame sports writer in many Hall of Fames, actually. And Royce passed away at the age of 79, and really, really good guy. We're going to miss him. Condolences to all of Royce's many, many friends and family. Terrific guy, and R.I.P. Royce Fuhr. Teddy, we will dive right into the sports. Sure. And we have a news story to put on top. And Patrick Everson's on his way in. He'll be in shortly. But let's discuss this in the meantime, because we had what I think, we'd heard a few rumors of this in the past few weeks, and I kind of dismissed them. It's like, no, he can't be that dumb. Apparently he can. Justin Herbert is going to go back to Oregon for his senior year. I think this is a colossal blunder on his part.
But again, when you're, 21 years old?
Right. Approximately.
Yeah. What do you do that isn't a colossal blunder? In terms of
this.
Well, I mean, when you talk about someone who says, all right, I made a commitment to my teammates, I made a commitment to the program, and that's what's important to me more than money right now, more than turning pro, more than being professional. Okay, he's allowed to make that decision. From a is this good for his career standpoint, I'm with you 100%. I think it's a terrible decision. Anytime you got a chance to go day one, a realistic chance to go day one, you take that chance.
And he's a cinch to go day one. He might, being that the NFL is such a quarterback-driven league at this point, he might have ended up as the first pick in the draft. It's possible. At the very least, he was going to go in the top 5 someplace.
And now he won't.
No.
He may not.
Well, he won't now. Not this year.
Sure. But
we don't know what will happen in the future. But I'll throw the two Matts out there as my argument for my side. Number one, Matt Leinart, who in the eyes of many scouts, NFL people, his stock dropped the day he decided to go back to USC for whatever reasons he had, because it's like, why is this? He has nothing left to accomplish here. He needs to accept the next challenge. And the more glaring example, Matt Barkley, who cost himself millions of dollars and, by the way, got exposed in the process. He went from a cinch first-round draft choice to not by going back to USC. It was a terrible mistake. I think Herbert's doing potentially the same thing. He had injury problems this year. And by the way, one other thing, and I don't know if they would have drafted him, but the Giants were interested. And the idea that you might end up in New York City, where he can back up Eli Manning for a year, by the way, which is the ideal scenario, and then be at the helm of the renaissance of what is still as storied a franchise as there is in the NFL, in the place where if you make it there, you can make it anywhere. You got to be nuts to turn that down, unless he doesn't like the idea of being a huge star.
Well, that's a possibility. That's not everyone wants to be the number one overall pick and is comfortable with that. Not everyone wants to go to New York City. A lot of guys are much more comfortable playing in Indianapolis.
Is that the guy you want as your quarterback?
Maybe. I don't think the fact that you're not looking for the spotlight and you're not fully career focused means that you're a poor quarterback or a poor choice as a quarterback. And I think the Matt Leinart example you gave is a really interesting one to discuss. Because if you talk to Matt Leinart today, Matt Leinart was a failure as an NFL quarterback.
Yes.
Crash and burn. He cost himself money by staying in, and then when he got the opportunity, he didn't take advantage of it. Matt Leinart's got a good life.
I'm not saying that Herbert's not going to have a good life. But
I don't think that Matt Leinart is disappointed in any of the decisions that he made if you talk to Matt Leinart.
And I agree with that.
And that may be the case for Justin Herbert.
Then that's not a guy I want as my quarterback. Honestly, I want the guy. I want the Baker Mayfield guy. And I know Baker Mayfield came out as a senior, but he wasn't one of the top 2 quarterbacks on the board after his junior year. Yeah. And who had transferred, by the way, because he was a walk out of Texas Tech. So, but that's the kind of guy I want. I want that swagger. I love the glare to Hugh Jackson. And by the way, the repercussions, it was not very nice of him. Yeah, maybe he didn't think it was very nice of Hugh Jackson to tell him he had earned the backup quarterback spot on the team coming out of training camp. It's like, this is for you. That's the guy I want. I want fierce competitors at that position. You got to be a leader. And to me, this isn't a leadership skill being displayed.
No, because you can argue the other side of that. You say, hey, he made a commitment to the program, to the coach, to his teammates, and he's being a leader by staying.
Yeah, but this coach wasn't even the one who recruited him. So, you know.
I mean, to question someone's leadership because they say, hey, I value my education, I value my teammates. I mean, I can understand from a career standpoint.
I'm just looking at it from, all I'm looking at it from is this a guy? I would personally, and then look, I can be dead wrong on this. He might turn out to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's just an opinion. But I'm not drafting him next year when he comes out. If I've got one of the top picks, I'll look at one of the other quarterbacks who's out there. And by the way, the kid at Alabama, who'll be coming out next year, I'd take him in a second anyway over Herbert. He's going to be a better football player. Patrick, any thoughts on what we're talking about with Justin Herbert deciding to, the hell with being the first or second quarterback being drafted. I'm going back to Oregon and have fun at Nike University.
I certainly think it's interesting. I can see both of your, I was listening on the way in as I was driving the last few blocks here, got caught up in a little bit of traffic, but I can certainly see both sides, but all I ever really think about is that the idea behind college, and I got two kids in college who are not going to be professional athletes, but the idea behind that is to get a job. And he is in position to go get his job.
He's ready to get his job.
So, yes. And the injury thing is the thing that concerns me the most is you had even mentioned, Dave, he had a little bit of issues with injuries this year. I mean, what if he wrenches his knee really bad? What if he does like this, the couple of running backs at Miami in the early 2000s? I think Willis McGahee was one, and then I think Frank Gore and Willis McGahee both ended up wrenching their knees. And that wasn't an issue of them coming out earlier or not.
McGahee actually, I believe, we'll never know, I believe he'd have been a Hall of Fame player had he not. The fact he had a great career anyway,
right,
or a good career, is remarkable because that was as bad an injury as I've ever seen.
Right, and it's not necessarily the best comparison because they weren't in the same situation as this quarterback is, but still, the injury part of it is, and I just feel like, boy, if you're there and you're a first day and even a first rounder, in all probability, boy, it's a tough. I guess it's a tough decision for him, but it wouldn't be a tough decision for me.
But he's a man; he's allowed to make those
Yes,
decisions.
absolutely. Look, it's a free country; he can do whatever he wants to do.
No
Look,
question.
He can come out after next year and say, "You know what? I don't want to play football. I'm fine. It's all right with me. Maybe he's a good baseball player. I don't know.
No, I don't question it that way. It's fully his decision.
Oh, sure.
I'm just, devil's advocate. If it were me, I would probably go, but I've never been in that position, obviously, or I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
One thing we don't have to worry about, nobody on the UNLV basketball team will be faced with that decision at the end of the season. Oh my God, I've been watching this program for a long time. I'm having trouble finding a game where I saw a worse UNLV team than I saw in Hawaii yesterday against Bucknell, a game which, they're down 36 points in this basketball game. They were horrendous. And that's an insult to horrendous. 6-6 heading into the Mountain West. Yeah, I know they'll occasionally have a good game, but they stink. They really do. They don't have any idea what they're doing on offense. The one thing they can do is offensive rebound because they've got some good athletes on the team, but they can't play basketball. And the direction of this program right now is not good.
They had 22 offensive rebounds yesterday. Yeah. You got to look at the positives for this stuff.
How do you lose? How are you down 36 in a game where you got 22 offensive boards?
They only had 10 turnovers. The defensive effort wasn't there yesterday. And look, Bucknell was hitting shots. They were hitting shots.
Oh, I know. And they were open, too.
And sometimes, when you're playing in a tournament, it's the last game of the tournament. You're a little bit out of steam, and the defense a little bit slow. But the
other team's playing the same amount of games in the tournament.
But they started out hitting shots. And when you start out hitting shots, you get the adrenaline on the one side. It doesn't, on the other.
If you run an offense that doesn't consist of launching 20 consecutive missed three-pointers, they hit the first one and missed 20 in a row. What are you doing? I will applaud Marvin Menzies for one thing, though, and I really will applaud him for this. He got so disgusted with the starters, he just yanked them off the floor in the second half and played a bunch of reserves. Good move. If you're going to send a message to the team, that's the way to do it. I wish more coaches would do that, and I'm not being sarcastic. I thought that was a great move by Marvin Menzies yesterday.
Oh, I won't disagree with that. I think that's exactly where you got to go. If you're getting boat raced there in a game, you shouldn't really be getting boat raced in, and you're not getting what you want out of your starters, and it's clear you're not going to win, then look, it's time to, as you said, Dave, send a message to the starters that if you want to continue to start for this program, you're not going to make an embarrassment of it in a game like this.
Let's talk about this. I put this in quotes on the little rundown I sent overnight. Lakers make a, quote, statement against the Warriors. Was it, Teddy? Was it a statement?
More for the Lakers and the Warriors, I think.
Oh, yeah. Right.
But absolutely. They came, they had their ears pinned back from the get-go in that game.
Good game for the bettors, by the way.
Yes.
And the fact that they did it even after, LeBron got hurt, Golden State went on a run where they cut it to 3, I think. They cut it to, I forget if it was 3 or 5. And then, 2 minutes later, it's the Lakers back up, doubles, and they're back up 17. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing this from the Lakers. What did we say? At the beginning of the season, Lakers are going to be a top 4 team in the West by the time the end of the season rolls around, and that evolution is happening.
Celtics made a good statement in overtime yesterday against the 76ers. Very exciting game.
Thriller. Christmas miracle.
Really was. It was good. That was a good ball game. And the Rockets have come to life, which I think was inevitable. I mean, there's just too much talent in that team for them to be floundering like they were, or foundering. I'm not sure what the right word is, but they're starting to look a little more like the Rockets now.
When Chris Paul sits, all of a sudden Houston gets a little bit better.
How about that? Looking back at all three of those, obviously the Lakers-Warriors game was the big one for the books. That was the one getting the most attention. And it was interesting at the Superbook. They were definitely seeing a ton of Lakers money. They were going to need the Warriors and obviously did not get there. MGM books, they were in kind of an interesting spot where they wanted the Warriors to win but not cover because there was a lot of Lakers money line cash coming in at a nice plus price, by the way, as they were 9-point dogs or whatever it ultimately went off at. So definitely the bettors got a nice little Christmas present with that primetime game last night.
Just in case you missed it, the Boston College-Boise State Bowl game was 7-0 early with Boston College leading, and then the weather got nasty, a lightning delay, and the lightning delay just wasn't going away. Apparently it was several hours that they were looking at being under this warning, so they just decided that's it, we're done. So that game is canceled. I don't ever recall seeing that before, a bowl game canceled after it starts. Is that a first?
I had heard on the way in that is the first time that's happened.
Right.
And I mean, I feel bad for the kids,
I know, they want to play.
Yeah, you practice, get ready, get all the way down there, get 2 drives in each, and all right, well, your season's over. Bye.
Last game for the seniors, too.
Yeah.
What a way to end.
Yeah, see you next year. Oh, thanks for playing.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they can party and have some fun down there with their time off. The Georgia Tech-Minnesota game is next up, and that will be starting in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we'll preview some other action that's taking place. We're going to save the TCU California Bowl game for the marquee matchup. So let's look at some other stuff right now on our Wednesday. MJ Christensen, 4-4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put the fours up. Put the fours up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
And we get it started with the Raptors and Heat. We'll do 3 NBA games and an early bowl game for tomorrow. Raptors and Heat matching up. Is Toronto leveling off at this point? What do we make of them, Teddy?
Yes. I mean, not leveling. I mean, they had such a hot start. It would be difficult for them to maintain long term, and they've been banged up the last couple of weeks. They really have. Ibaka's been hurt. It does look like he's going to be able to play tonight. Lowry's been hurt. It doesn't look like he's going to suit up tonight. Valanciunas is out for long term, and I think the injuries have definitely affected Toronto's continuity in recent weeks. Nothing's affected Miami's continuity, though. They've had their share of injuries, and all of a sudden, it seems about every time about this time, Spoelstra gets them to. It feels like for 5-6 years in a row. It's like around Christmas, around New Year's. That's when Miami comes to play. And what's it now? 6 straight wins.
They're hot
for the Heat. They're certainly playing much better basketball now than they were back in October and November.
Is that being reflected at the betting windows in this game, Patrick?
A little bit both ways here. This is Raptors 3.5 at the Superbook, talking about this game and others that we'll discuss today with Eric Osterman over at the Superbook. And they're open 3.5, still sitting 3.5. Eric said some action on the Heat at plus 3.5. People liking that, but also liking Raptors on the money line. He said Toronto's in quite a few parlays, playing them in a money line fashion. And that is a